Hi, it's Pete Moore, one of PCM Guns. I assume most of you here recognise this. It's Ruger's 10-22 semi-auto rifle. The design is now 60 years old, and Ruger have issued a number of these rifles and other rifles in their range to celebrate the 75th anniversary. So you've got a bit of a pedigree here. The Ruger's been around, say, for a long time, and it hasn't changed that much. This is a new make sporter. It's got a nicer stock. Seems a bit slicker than some of the 10-22s I owned when I was a youngster. But in all honesty, the design is quite basic in terms of the mechanism. It's blowback, obviously, and it was really designed, I think, initially as a plinker and a small game rifle. You go out with a couple of magazines, handful of cartridges, and you shoot some bunnies or whatever you're doing, or you just have a bit of fun with it, knock it over tin cans. And it did become one of the mainstays of shooting after the handgun ban for action type practical shooting. But as I said, it's a bit primitive. The last round hold openers and all that, it's very basic. Scope mount is a Weaver rail with a 1/2-inch dovetail for mounting, so you've got two options there. Okay, but full picatinny would be better. Mag release is a bit fiddly. On this gun, they've put the new paddle on there, which is a lot better. Trigger is, from the box, 4.5, 5 pounds. Graunchy, not amazing, but you can make it work. This one comes in iron sights, but it's been around, as I said before, and people like it, because if you sold 8 million units and counting, then there's something about the gun that people like. Probably the biggest thing about the Ruger, and the most ironic thing is, because of its popularity, the aftermarket people from the gun industry, not Ruger, have produced just a buttload of accessories. You can get fluted barrels, heavy barrels, carbon wrap barrels, different types of receiver, go faster bits, cock and handle, better triggers, bolt release, mag release, different stocks. So you can turn your rifle from a basic like plinker into something a lot more sexy and exciting. Okay, the problem is you get your basic Ruger and you've got to do something with it. Ruger have never really issued what I would call a sort of a competition type longer range rifle, because these days 2-2 long rifle shooting at distances of well over 100 yards is getting very popular. And with the greatest respect to this gun and many like it, if you want to push the range out and want to get good accuracy, then the gun as it sits now doesn't really cut it. It is what it is. It's reasonably well priced. So if I wanted to turn this gun into a more competition-oriented rifle, so it would cost me probably in excess of £400 or £500 to do that if I went the whole hog, maybe more. So what Ruger have got now is their custom shop guns, and they do a small series of guns that have been reworked, looked at to improve function. And when it comes to 10-22, improving function, what it's all about. So let's see what Ruger have turned this basic blaster into. And here it is, the 10-22 match. I'll just run through what they've done, and then we'll look in detail at what actually happens. So caliber's 2-2 long rifle only, capacity 10 round with the standard Ruger rotary magazine. That's fine, that's never broken. New barrel is 16.12 inches long, heavy, round about just an inch or so, fluted, which is nice. Twist rate's a standard 1 in 16 inch for the most of the 40 grain type 2-2 projectiles. It's a 6-groove right hand twist. And it has what they call an advanced semi-auto chamber, which means you should get better feed, better extraction, and hopefully that will aid consistency and accuracy. The stock's a heavy laminate, free floats. You get the new BX trigger unit, which gives you a reduced pull of 2.5 to 3 pounds, which is a vast improvement of the old 4.5 to 5 pound. There's an improved bolt release system, which does solve a lot of problems. The receiver is a one-piece hard anodised aluminium forging with 13 MOA integral Picatinny rail. There's a rear bedding screw as well as a front bedding screw, which is a complete difference to the original gun with only one forward bedding screw. It's got the BX trigger unit uses a fast ambidextrous magazine release. Standard safety catch cross bolts before. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So also when you take the gun apart, which is easy, you have a hole bored in the rear of the receiver. So with the bolt out, you can clean from the rear, which is great, so you don't be pushing from the front. And if you use a bore snake, which is convenient, it doesn't do the cleaning that a proper rod and brush will do. It's got an adjustable comb, and it has a match bolt, which is supposed to run better and more true. And with a semi-auto, which technically aren't as accurate as a 2.2 bolt gun, these things make the difference. So let's just look in a bit more detail how and what. Starting at the back, you have this rather nice butt in this light laminate material, which I do like the look of. And here you have an adjustable comb, which is great. Flip the lever up, and the comb slides up and down. It also slides backwards and forwards, so you can tailor your head position nicely, which I really do like. The pistol grip is nice and big and firm. There's more height on the comb, on the original comb here as well. The thing I'm surprised at is that this length point is 13.5 inches, and it comes with a slim rubber butt plate and a single spacer. But they don't mention about adjusting the length of pull. And I would have thought if they'd gone all this trouble to make what is pretty much a matched 2.2, then they should have thought about doing some adjustable length of pull just with spacers. But you know, sometimes you do miss the point. The receiver is hard anodised, very nice, and the match bolt feels slicker when you're operating it by hand compared to the bolt on the standard rifle. There's less slap, which is good. The BX trigger is say 2.5 to 3 pounds, and you can really feel the difference when you're in the aim with this thing. You're on, everything's ready to go, a little pull and it's there. This just cuts down more of the variables, which is what it's all about. I love the new magazine release. It's ambidextrous, so boom, boom, boom. Press forward your trigger finger. Mag drops free. And it does it this side as well. Really nice. The trigger mech housing on all new Rugers is a glass-filled polymer, which is great. They've extended the cocking handle, so it's much easier to get hold of, which I really do like. Underneath we can now see the two bedding screws here and here, which again is great. So the action is being pulled down like a proper rifle with front and rear screws. It just makes so much sense to me. The heavy barrel is free floated in the action. Not makes a lot of difference on a 2.2, but you've got a solid bar of steel here, nicely aligned, and there's no real pressure exerted by the fore end anyway, so you're going to get good accuracy. See here, the fluting is quite deep, and this Cerakote black in the fluting is just more cosmetic. And you get a very fancy muzzle brake on this. And you can see with the thread just how much thick the barrel is compared to a normal Ruger. You could question whether or not a muzzle brake on a rifle like this has any function, because there's bugger all recoil on a 2.2. However, it occurred to me that if you've got this super match barrel with the match chamber and all the good bits going for it, there's the space between the muzzle and the end of the muzzle brake is where the bullet transitions into free air. Now, these ports are angled, and there's also blast ports at the front. The expanding gases are ported away equally and evenly. which probably allow the bullet to go on its way. I don't know, but it's a thought. But if you don't want it, you can just whack on a moderator. Weight-wise, Ruger say that bareback, this rifle weighs 6 pounds, which is I think about a pound or so heavier than the standard gun, maybe a pound and a half. But with a big scope on, you can add at least another pound to it, maybe a bipod. And when you actually sort of feel the weight of the thing, it doesn't feel that heavy, but it feels a lot more solid and secure in the shoulder when you're shooting it. Overall, I think it's a vastly improved mousetrap. So I've been shooting this thing with 2.2 match type ammo out of interest. I'm going to try some 2.2 subsonic as well, because I can see, even though this is more of a match gun, I can see a lot of people who are looking to build up their Ruger or think about something for long range rimfire rifle. It could well appeal, and this will be just a good bunny basher in terms of getting around to the right place. Certainly better than the standard rifle because the actual potential is more. One of the other nice things about the rifle is it has the new bolt hold open catch in it. It's not an automatic hold open because the magazine system doesn't support that. It's much easier to put on and also take off, as we shall see. Magazine goes in, pull back, release. That's 4 rounds. Just eject this live round. And it's the same position catch. You push it up and hold it there. And then, rather than having to fiddle with it with the old thing, all you do is just put another mag in, pull back, release. Safety off. Pop the mag, press it up and it's there. It's a much more user-friendly system, which is what it's all about. No struggling, good trigger, easy mag release. You're much more in control of the rifle, you really are. And I've got to say I like it. The downside is the price. It's hovering around £1,200 where you go for it. But when you think about if you were to build this rifle, then you'd have to basically go and buy a new receiver with integral rail, big fat barrel, a nice laminate stock, trigger group, all the bits and pieces, which would cost you. So in some ways, this is off the shelf, ready to rock and roll. Whereas in other ways you could say, well, it's too expensive, I don't want to do that. But if you're looking at a rifle that can shoot straight at distances well past what people expect of a standard 2.2 long rifle semi-automatic system, then this is one of them, I think, because you could get a compatible AR type 2.2 and you'd be paying probably about the same amount of money for it. And in some ways, because of the nice stock and everything, adjustable comb, it's a bit more shootable. But I would happily take this bunny bashing, put a moddy on it, and I think that my rabbit bag would increase by using this compared to the standard 1022. No offense to the 1022, it is what it is. This is a massive quantum leap forward over the original gun, and something, if you want it, you have to pay for it. I think a lot of people who slag off the 1022, and there are those that say it's unreliable, it's this, that and the other, would be very surprised by shooting this and seeing how slick and smooth, and as I said before, user-friendly and shootable it is. Okay, I tried 3 loads of this, all match type rounds, because this is what it's all about. This is the sort of fodder you'd be using if you were shooting 100 metres plus. First of all was SK's Long Range Max, which came in at 0.586 of an inch, so it's ½ inch. That's at 50 metres, pretty good. Then RWS Special Match, which is a similar sort of cartridge, and that came in at 0.666, which again is not too bad. consistently, but the winner of the tight group at 50 metres goes to Lapua Midas Plus at 0.394 inches, which is pretty damn impressive when you think about it. I also tried some just more normal type rounds, purely out of interest, and I used Remington 40 grain subsonic, and that shot and functioned really well, and it was printing, which is pretty good for a semi-auto. And I also tried my favourite subsonic, the 42 grain Winchester Max, and it wouldn't chamber properly. And the reason is I think that bullet is quite big and fat and heavy and got a lot of grease on it. Not slanging off the rifle and not slanging off the Winchester, I think you've got to think, if you're using an enhanced match type chamber or semi-auto chamber where it's been cut to the finer dimensions, then certain 2-2 rimfire ammunition will not suit it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, tell your friends. If you want to speak to me, it's the usual thing, pmoore.shootingsports@gmail.com. And as always, I'll bring you some more stuff. Remember, shoot straight, be safe. I'll catch you later.